All right, welcome guys to the Chivalrous Men's Group. Today we're going to be touching on rule number 10 of the 10 rules that we can instantaneously implement into our lives to change our lives right now, today, with no hesitation, right? But before we get to rule number 10, I want to invite each and every one of you guys to our Chivalrous Men's Group, the Building Foundation Mentorship Program. We have weekly meetings. You have two one-on-one sessions a month where we do a deep dive in your life and in your behavior and see where we can improve your strategies and processes to make you the best version of yourself. Currently, right now, we are looking for sponsorship for several young men. If you are interested in sponsoring a young man, please reach out to me. Of course, there's a level of privacy that I don't want to expose all of the young men's information, but to the sponsors, I will have a conversation with you to let you know who you'll be sponsoring and more about the program. So right now I'm developing some kind of a payment program, but please reach out to me. Of course, we could do it through Cash App or several other venues, right? But if you are interested in sponsoring a young man for session number 1, please reach out to me. And we'll go ahead and get this ball started. All right. So before we get to rule number 10, I want to touch on the other rules that we have to implement today to become the best versions of ourselves. One of the things that I tell the young men, that none of this works. None of this works unless you do. I can have the most beautiful car in the driveway, and it's not going to do anything if I don't get into the car and if I don't drive the car. I can have all of the most beautiful gym equipment. It's not going to have any effect on my life unless I get and start to use that gym equipment. So none of this information works, gentlemen, unless you do. So let's go ahead and get started. And I review as much as I can in every video for those that have not seen the other 9 videos. Hopefully you will go back and watch them, but if you have not, here's the information. Number 1, we do not negotiate with the weakness in ourselves. Number 2, we control our emotions. If not, our emotions will control us. Number 3, we do the hard things. Even if we don't want to, we still do the hard things. Number 4, we cut the noise out of our lives and we master our focus, right? Whether it be we have singular focus on one thing and we're trying to master it, and we do that over and over and over again until we have mastery of many things. Number 4, we stop seeking approval. We do not need approval to become the best versions of ourselves. This is something that is ingrained in us, and this is something that God wants from us, right? So we don't seek approval to be the best versions of ourselves. Number 6, we understand that silence is power. Right? We don't talk about what we do. We just go ahead and do it. Okay. Number 7, we own our mistakes without shame or guilt. Number 8, we understand that discomfort is our teacher. We want to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations, right? So that we can learn and we can improve and excel in difficult situations. Number 9 is discipline is greater than motivation, right? You only have a certain amount of willpower, but if you have the discipline to perform, right, understand that it is greater than motivation. And number 10, and this is one that's very personal to me. It's something that I struggled with for a large part of my life, is stop living in your head. Live in alignment with the actions that you want to see in your life. Okay? So that's one of the things that we said. So Marcus Aurelius, in a Stoic philosophy, said, waste no more time arguing with what a good man should be. Become one. Okay? So we're not going to waste any more time saying this is what a good man does. We're going to actually start doing it. And my personal story, I fought for a long time between the man that I was and the man that I wanted to be. I saw the man that I wanted to be, But for various reasons, I was afraid to become that man. For various reasons, I thought that, oh, it would be weak to treat your significant other this way. Oh, it would be you if you respond in this way, you're going to cause more, bring more trouble onto yourself, right? Numerous parts of my personality that I knew that I wanted to do, but whether it was through a lack of education, whether it was through cowardice, whether it was through not having the proper mentor, I was unable to be that person. Okay. And so what ended up happening is that I was living a double life. I was living especially in front of my kids, I was living this pristine, man that wakes up in the morning and has all of his stuff together. And, because I didn't want my children to see those negative aspects of my character. But when my children weren't with me, right, that not so good side of me would consistently would come out, right? And the thing about living a double life, right, is that negative aspect of your life is eventually going to come into that positive aspect of your life, and that person that you really are is going to be it's going to come out and it's going to be seen, right? And that's something that even in my situation, that is what occurred. And when I went through the healing process and started to change my life, I had to go to my children and apologize to them for not being the man that I should have been. And even though that apology drew us closer, it still didn't stop the difficulties in my life early on, right? In my young adulthood. So, and this is one of the reasons why I've decided to have this this mentorship program and the Chivalrous men's group, is because I want to assist young men not to go through the turmoil and the tribulations that I went through as a young man, because I didn't have the tools and the guidance. Even though I didn't listen to the tools and the guidance that would have prevented a lot of harm, in my life. So we don't live in our head anymore, right? We know what we have to do. We know what we should do. And we start taking the steps to do those actions. Now, does that mean that tomorrow you're going to turn around and you're not going to have this negative self-talk? Yes, it is going to happen, but that's why we said in number 1 that we don't negotiate with our weaknesses, right? Does that mean that when we are being the best versions of ourselves and, we end up getting into some kind of an altercation with somebody, right, that we don't respond to that? Yes, we do respond to whatever that altercation is, but number 2, we control our emotions, right? And we don't lose our quietude, right? As men, there's this concept that you have to have a masculine frame. And when I talked on controlling your emotions, one of the things that Will Smith, he said something that, when you lay a brick around or you build this wall around your family that no one can penetrate, that you have to lay each brick perfectly, right? So what do you say? You say, today, I'm going to try to be the best version of me today. What is the best man that I can be today? Of every situation, what is the best decision that I can make today, right? Where I am being the best man. And then when you string those day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, you're going to look up and you're going to find yourself to be a good man. Okay? But it's not something that happens instantaneously. It's something that happens over time. Every decision, every choice, right? Every difficult moment. There is a best case scenario and there is a worst case scenario, and we have to do the hard work of taking the best case scenario or the best actions possible in that situation. And if you do it like that, it's not, you won't find yourself negotiating with that weakness. You're not going to find yourself seeking approval because you know what you should be doing. And whether people understand what you should be doing or not, that's not your concern. Your concern is, are you being true with yourself? Are you living in alignment with your philosophies? Okay? And so one of the things, I was on social media the other day, and they asked a question in some group that I'm in, and they said, would you want to, or how did it go? I'm sorry. Would you want your daughter to marry the man that you are? And my response to that was, 20 years ago, absolutely not. But today, I would be honored if my daughter was to marry a man like me. And I'm not saying that from a point of arrogance, right? I'm just saying that from a point of, I know that I've done the work, and I'm proud of the work that I've done. And I would be honored if my wife or if my daughter was to marry a man that was similar to me in character, right? Something that's very important. Okay. So before I end, there's if you guys, anybody knows me, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And one of the points that was said in the Empire Strikes Back, right? I'm letting some of my nerd come out right now, right? Yoda, of course, everybody knows this saying, right? But this is a situation where Yoda was told to, or Luke was told to try to raise the X-Fighter out of the swamp that it was in, right? And Luke said, "I'll try." And then Yoda said, "Do or do not. There is no try." Okay? And so I'm going to apply this to this situation here as far as us men, right? We do or we do not. There's no, I'm going to try to be a best man, a better man, right? I'm going to try to make the best decisions. I'm going to try to honor the women in my life. I'm going to try to be the best employee that I can be. No, you do or you do not. There is no try. The outcomes might not be the outcomes that you want. Okay? But be a good man today. Take these 10 rules and implement them today. Don't wait until tomorrow, and definitely don't, because you don't know what's going to happen. And definitely don't wait until it's too late. Okay? All right, guys, remember to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you will reach your destination. Peace.